The instant I witnessed 40,000 gallons of frigid mountain water bursting through Victoria Harrington's opulent basement lair, submerging her $100,000 entertainment system in a chaotic whirl of sparking electronics and drifting high-end pillows, a profound wave of vindication washed over me, as if fate had orchestrated this deluge to rectify the injustices of her unyielding harassment. Her wails ricocheting off the drenched surfaces while she ranted about legal recourse and calamities, and there I remained, grounded in my sodden footwear, inhaling the mingled odors of damp concrete and retribution, fully aware this was the consequence she'd invited by challenging elements beyond her grasp. The waters roar a symphony of poetic justice that drowned out her empire of entitlement, leaving her to grapple with the soggy remnants of her overreach. 6 months prior, inheriting Grandpa Sam's 4-acre retreat in Wyoming's untamed terrain seemed like the remedy for my acrimonious divorce wounds. With that luminous stream, whispering brook, meandering through our grounds like a vital artery, the place where childhood summers taught me to snare fish barehanded and recognize avian calls, those lazy afternoons filled with the gentle gurgle of water over mossy stones, the sunlight dancing on ripples that carried away my youthful worries, now serving as the playground for Lily and Max to hunt amphibians, construct pebble barriers, and mend our fractured family ties post-custody disputes, their laughter echoing along the banks like a healing balm, reminding me that some legacies flow deeper than blood. Beyond aesthetics, the brook boasted unassailable protections from Grandpa Sam's 1948 entitlement, overriding any subsequent developments, and my 20 years at Riverside Dynamics Engineering Fluid Mechanics ingrained the principles. Priority usage shielded against encroachments from later claimants, regardless of their status, the laws etched in stone like the riverbed itself, unyielding to the whims of newcomers who thought money could reroute history. It sustained the locale's vitality, elevating real estate worth through its untamed allure, attracting fauna that enchanted dawns, the deer sipping tentatively at dawn, birds flitting in synchronized ballets overhead, and curbing our summer chill expenses as others escalated utility debts, the natural coolant a gift that kept our home a sanctuary amid sweltering heats, while neighbors cursed their rising bills and mechanical hums. Until Victoria Harrington invaded like a couture-clad tempest, hailing from Dallas with wealth sufficient to claim Pinecrest Valley's grandest residence, presuming her fortune entitled her to dictatorial sway. Her arrival marked by movers unloading crates of ostentatious decor that screamed more about status than taste, her eyes scanning the neighborhood like a predator assessing prey. Her spouse, Harold, managed upscale vehicle outlets, adorning his ebony SUV with top dog tags parked ostentatiously, betraying deeper inadequacies. His booming laugh at block parties a thin veil over the emptiness that drove his endless acquisitions, and swiftly, Victoria ascended to Homeowners Association helm, initiating a cleanse veiled as enhancements, targeting misfits to her ideal, besieging them with sanctions, infractions, and ceaseless aggravation until compliance, payment, or exodus ensued. Her meetings a stage for performative outrage that left attendees whispering in hushed tones of rebellion. Her presence exuded authoritarianism, an inescapable pall over our formerly serene enclave, igniting conflict via a formal missive that spiked my adrenaline, mandating rectification of the alleged inundation peril within 30 days or incurring $600 daily penalties, deeming my ancestral brook a vector breeding ground and hazard to adjacent dwellings, the audacity palpable from this outsider, accustomed solely to sanitized pools, presuming to educate a hydraulics specialist on aquatic governance. Her words dripping with condescension that made my fists clench involuntarily. Armed with Grandpa Sam's records, I proposed amicable solutions like ornamental enclosures, pest mitigation, or expert beautification, yet she dismissed them outright, proclaiming no exemptions, her heels grinding my driveway as if pulverizing my lineage, having already victimized others in patterns I'd observed with revulsion, such as Mrs. Lee, the Korean elder whose garden sustained neighborhood youths, compelled to eradicate her produce as exotic, despite commonplace varieties, her tears, as she uprooted vines that had fed generations a silent indictment of Victoria's cruelty. Similarly, Tyler endured mandates to recoat his home in mandated neutral during his companion's chemotherapy nadir, her hue deemed overly vivid, the paint fumes mixing with the sterile scent of hospital visits, pushing him to the brink of despair. And Helen, the veteran educator, faced citations for February festivities already dismantled, purely for Victoria's delight in enforced subservience. Her glee at the scramble, a twisted form of entertainment. Several clans capitulated, expending vast sums to cease the ordeal, nourishing her dominance fixation. Yet my expertise in channeling torrents revealed a truth she ignored. Obstructing an enduring natural surge doesn't eradicate it, but redirects, amassing force to shatter impediments, the pressure building like a storm on the horizon, inevitable and unforgiving. Victoria Harrington had provoked the incorrect specialist, poised to comprehend nature's inexorable dominance, her smug demeanor a fragile dam about to burst under the weight of her own arrogance. Escalation surged from insinuations to juridical onslaught. Mere weeks post-confrontation, convening an untimely homeowners association assembly excluding laborers, her sycophants endorsing her depiction of my brook as ecological blight undermining valuations and welfare, the slides flashing exaggerated images that twisted reality into her narrative. The biased 4-to-1 mandate for prompt correction was farcical, Helen alone upholding ethics, followed by a prohibition edict from exorbitant counsel, misapplying municipal statutes on unmanaged flows inapplicable here, a gambit relying on intimidation over verification, as bureaucratic mazes often deter persistence, fostering illusion of validity, but I saw through the smoke, my resolve hardening like bedrock. However, Victoria underestimated communal resentment toward oppressors. My cafe rally at Brewhaven drew 25 attendees, their narratives amid aromatic infusions curdling my stomach. Mrs. Lee's quavering recount of discarding ancestral seeds from Korea, the soil still clinging to her hands as a reminder of loss. Tyler's emotional depiction of renovation amid medical crises, his voice breaking as he described balancing ladders and grief. It unveiled a racket dynamic, allies receiving leniency, adversaries immediate reprisals, comically overt yet devastating. Helen penalized post-illness, while Victoria's ally Beth ignored seasonal overextensions, the double standards of festering wound in our community's fabric. Engineering instincts activated, scrutinizing the 1995 Homeowners Association bylaws exempting my brook due to antiquity, corroborated by urban planners as ordinance-compliant and watershed-essential, with state authorities affirming Grandpa Sam's precedents nullifying board interference, their encouragement a spark that ignited my fight. Bolstered by evidence and alliance, I petitioned water regulators, as juveniles initiated a Preserve the Minnows campaign amassing 250 endorsements across districts swiftly, the petition stacking like a wall against her tide. Even Rachel, my former spouse, extended legal aid, indicating widespread repudiation of Victoria's regime, her excess uniting disparate factions in collective disdain, the momentum building like a gathering flood. The pivotal shift emerged. Victoria eschewed concession for aggression, obstructing my access during commutes, alerting my employer of purported disruptions, and embarking on surveillance under enforcement guise, morphing from autocrat to deranged, signaling unrestricted combat, her eyes following me like shadows in the twilight. Victoria's campaign against our revered brook leaped from trivialities to professional sabotage, contacting Riverside Dynamics to portray me as unreliable amid controversies, aiming to dismantle my vocation for refusing to yield Grandpa Sam's bequest to her caprice. The phone call a dagger aimed at my livelihood, twisting facts into weapons that could unravel years of hard-earned trust, and upon failure, fabricating a health alert alleging stagnant perils fostering disease vectors, her voice on. The report laced with feigned concern that masked pure malice. Ironically, her ornamental pond, a genuine stagnation site, evaded scrutiny while she mobilized bureaucracy against an impeccable stream, unlinked to ailments over decades. And Inspector Diego Ramirez anticipated mire, but encountered Eden, translucent basins hosting indigenous base, juveniles frolicking in shallow brilliance, the murmur over stones debunking her fabrication, his notepad filling with notes of admiration rather than condemnation. Moreover, Diego, an enthusiast caster, identified safeguarded Wyoming golden trout, rendering alterations felonious, and spurious environmental assertions forged traceable repercussions, detested by officials manipulated in vendettas, their time wasted on her whims fueling a quiet fury. His dossier not only exonerated but advocated preservation, deeming her submission frivolous, catalyzing my professional cohort's mobilization. Dr. Isabella Torres contributing analyses confirming superior purity, absent contaminants, balanced composition from pristine origins, her lab results a shield of science against her baseless assaults. Industry discourse propagated Victoria as an overreach exemplar among fluid experts. Concurrently, she enlisted investigator Tom Riley for personal scandals to bolster her agenda. Yet Tom, principled former lawman, unearthed not but commendables, STEM volunteering, impeccable standing, Grandpa Sam's heroic bridge as veteran homage. The stories of his wartime sacrifices adding layers of honor to my defense. In a haze of tobacco and caffeine, he revealed her insistence on fabricating Flaw's post-clean report, pivotal dialogue arming Olivia Ramirez for injunctions and potential indictments, transcending annoyance to criminality. The affidavit a turning point that shifted the current in my favor. Desperately, Victoria enticed newcomers with dues reductions for opposition, unwittingly soliciting Dr. Maria Gonzalez, an ecological authority, who rebuffed and volunteered testimony on the Brook's significance and her scheme's infractions, inadvertently enlisting her adversary's advocate, Victory's aroma intertwining with coniferous winds as her plot unraveled. The irony a quiet chuckle in the midst of tension. Retaliation involved a hastily convened homeowners association session, violating notice protocols. Agenda proposing $12,000 levy on me for remediation litigation, extortion formalized, alongside foreclosure intimidations for fabricated breaches, her desperation palpable as cement haulers materialized Friday twilight, my absence presumed for occupational travel. The truck's lights casting ominous shadows on the water's edge. This ambush signified her plunge into ecological delinquency. Evergreen Pouring Company asserting emergency sands authorizations, engine thrum chilling as she sought nocturnal entombment, irreversible and litigiously burdensome, yet vigilant allies alerted pre-deployment, enabling my hurried return and strategic countermeasures, the adrenaline surging as I coordinated from the road. Dialing Deputy Sanchez, Olivia, and environmental overseers en route, I arrived to confront Victoria directing operations imperiously, her foray into illegality evident, Foreman Raul reviewing credentials and authority, declining participation to safeguard credentials, his firm stance a crack in her facade. The detonation? Olivia's fiscal scrutiny exposed misappropriations as expenditures, sanctioning $18,000 to Harold's Enterprises for fictitious landscaping, siphoning maintenance reserves for her pursuit, neglecting genuine infrastructure, the ledgers revealing a web of deceit that tangled her further. Agency awareness of exploitation fueled meticulous documentation, inter-office comparisons repositioning Victoria as suspect in fraudulent inquiries, media ignition via Channel 7 interview, following viral exposure of the incursion, amassing views rapidly, the spotlight turning her from hunter to hunted. Amid glaring illumination and cosmetic fumes, I elucidated authoritarian HOA perils absent evidentiary resistance, narrative disseminating, eliciting analogous accounts of despotic overseers prioritizing dominion over stewardship, the comments a chorus of shared outrage. Victoria's polished rebuttal video accrued disapproval swiftly, asserting persecution by radicals devaluing assets, countered by evidentiary uploads portraying her as aggressor, triumphs essence sharp as alpine zephyrs, heralding purification, the online backlash a digital flood eroding her standing. An enigmatic parcel materialized dawnward, substantial envelope yielding photographic revelations across my table, engineering acumen ignited by depictions of Victoria's subterranean overhaul, extensive unlicensed concreting, drainage alterations, sophisticated diversions uninspected, the details of blueprint of her undoing. Her $50,000 sanctuary violated codes and commandeered subterranean feeds sustaining our brook eternally, seals and mechanisms preserving aridity by deflection, yet physics disregards boundaries, displaced volumes manifesting elsewhere, her barriers diminishing our flux by 40%, engendering the stagnations and hazards she attributed to me. The hypocrisy, a thunderclap in my mind. Perfection and irony. Her accusations mirrored her clandestine infractions, documentation including invoices during pending reviews, construction preceding sanctions, disposal discrepancies versus illicit discharges into protected conduits, the evidence stacking like sediment layers. Correlating with Grandpa Sam's meteorological chronicles, downturn aligned post-initiation, her subterranean obstruction famishing us while inundating vicinities seasonally, the journal's faded ink a testament to enduring stewardship. Olivia exulted over the array. Ethan, this transcends violations, federal ecological offenses, invoking clean water penalties up to $60,000 daily, retrospective approvals demanding exorbitant assessments over extended periods, potentially denied for habitat impairment, the legal web tightening around her. Homeowners frequently overlook drainage mandates necessitating comprehensive evaluations due to cascading impacts. Victoria's evasion birthing uninsured liabilities and perpetual pursuits, inverting dynamics. She decried my brook while her transgressions precipitated all grievances. Her lair now vulnerability sans coverage, remediation entailing demolition, the cost a monument to her folly. Vengeance conclave at Pancake Palace fused savory aromas with retaliatory fervor, Olivia orchestrating documents amid adhesions as Dr. Isabella systematized ecological proofs, Helen's device humming with reconnaissance from transformed prey to insurgents, the booth buzzing with strategic whispers. Symphony of utensils and folios amplified eagerness. Ethan, atomic escalation. Olivia declared avidly, amalgamating distress litigation, ecological referrals, and audits unveiling embezzlements, each layer peeling back her veneer. Exquisite reversal? Bureaus she exploited now targeted her felonies. Dr. Isabella elevating brook to juridical pinnacle, purifying upstream pollutants, safeguarding municipal supplies, her modifications jeopardizing regional integrity, the data a damning flood of facts. Mandated studies $60,000, biennial, exacerbating deluges, Helen harnessing pedagogical prowess into resistance framework, networks, digital coordination, anti-harassment protocols, metamorphosing our domain into anti-despotism bastion, the organization a testament to collective strength. Chronicled torments across 16 households, $100,000 diversions, procedural nullifications spanning years, testimonials on inflicted traumas, the stories weaving a tapestry of suffering and resilience. Publicity transcended locality to emblematic defiance. Channel 7's exposés featuring Brooke as underdog versus oppressor, juvenile recreations juxtaposed against vehicular aggressions, the visuals stirring hearts far beyond our valley. Ecological entities disseminated nationally, our saga paradigm for civilian triumph via substantiation and tenacity, gratification surpassing confectionery delights, the inspiration rippling outward like waves from a stone's throw. Engineering tenure illuminated bullies' multi-layered infractions reliant on victim fatigue, Wyoming's protective statutes against suppressive suits enabling fee reclamation, devastating frivolous initiators, the laws a safeguard like the Brooks Banks. Fiscal revelations shamed organized malfeasance, beyond phantom payments, self-exemptions, reserve abuses for conflicts, breaching fiduciary obligations, the discrepancies a cascade of corruption. Panelists sought protections, residents demanded reimbursements. My compendium expanded intergenerational guardianship, seasonal visuals, boundary validations, archival imagery affirming constancy, compelling against captured vandalisms, the collection a fortress of truth. Satisfyingly, Victoria's psyche deteriorated amid mounting assaults, her escalating delinquencies furnishing fresh indictments, self-sabotaging credibility expeditiously, the cracks in her composure widening like fissures in dry earth. Her terminal spiral commenced with nocturnal intrusion, footage dawn reviewed evoking dread, timestamp midnight. Her, an accomplice infiltrating like felons, equipped for ominous samplings beyond litigation. The violation a desecration that fueled my resolve anew. Grainy records depicted her soiling sanctuary, capturing metrics, Violations sting fueling ire at desecration, the audacity burning like a slow fuse. Deputy Sanchez illuminated her disheveled visage, associate fleeing, her quivering grasp on specimens explaining illicit collections, the scene a tableau of caught hubris. Compassion fleeting, recalling her systematic demolitions via deceptions and juridical assaults, the memory steeling my heart against pity. Catastrophic blunder? Bribing Everlast builders Ben Harlow for falsified attestations on structural perils. Ben covertly recording her $6,000 proposition for exaggerated reports circumventing safeguards, the tape a noose of her own making. Her directives strained with urgency. Interpret benign as hazardous. Prioritize immediacy. Post-refusal unleashing tirades. Egress infantile. The outburst a glimpse into her unraveling core. Ben's documentation empowered Olivia for conspiratorial charges enduring beyond civilities, capturing fraudulent imperatives, the evidence irrefutable. Contractual insights underscored bribery's gravity, undermining protective frameworks against her engineered catastrophes, the implications a chain reaction of consequences. Surveillance matured into behavioral dossiers, Mrs. Lee noting unauthorized documentations, broadening reprisals. Her camera shakes a record of defiance. Tyler audio captured elder coercions, levies and litigations absent petitions, the threats echoing in the quiet nights. Helen cataloged governance erosions, decrees supplanting democracy like faltering sovereign, the logs a chronicle of decay. Decisive episode? Fabricated emergency summons alleging Brooke-induced submergence, responders attributing to her unsanctioned alterations, unconnected to historical flows, report classifying as service misuse, fraudulent exploitation, the fallout a storm of official scrutiny. Enforcement intensified with compliance ultimata or compounding sanctions. Ecological evaluations $50,000, prolonged amid aggravations, the timeline a sentence in itself. Coverage denials exposed vulnerabilities, accelerations surpassing containment, culminating Friday's vehicular positioning for audacious ecological felony. The plan a desperate gambit born of cornered panic. Audacious blueprint. Entomb Brooke during my purported absence. Irreversible devastation litigiously exhaustive. Enlisting Herald's personnel as communal aides. Felony masquerading benevolence. The coordination a farce of feigned community spirit. Rumbles invaded tranquility like predators. Apparatuses coiling toward annihilation. The night air thick with diesel and dread. Alerts documented orchestration. Victoria's frenzied command of legacy eradication. Fury mingling with atmosphere at her intent. The betrayal of fire in my veins. Aborting itinerary, I marshaled comprehensive countermeasures, synchronizing with Deputy Sanchez, EPA Dr. Maria, Channel 7, transmuting her scheme into documented infamy, the convergence a climax of converging forces. Captures and transmissions intermingled with mechanics as Enclave battled heritage versus vandalism, the standoff a pivotal moment etched in memory. Saturday Aurora, apparatuses activated ravenously. Victoria attired authoritatively presuming elegance absolved daylight transgressions before assemblages, her posture a last bastion of control. Foreman Raoul scrutinizing entitlements, rejecting involvement, safeguarded conduit since 48, federal infractions demand clearances, no credential forfeiture for theatrics. His words a hammer blow to her plans. Authorities descended cinematically, Deputy Sanchez issuing halts as Dr. Maria invoked penalties for unauthorized interments. Inspector Vargas verifying multi-level requisites bypassed, the officials' badges gleaming like badges of impending doom. Evacuation hasty, compensations demanded, chromatic fluctuations remarkable, yet obliteration via Harold's public condemnation. His arrival a surprise that shifted the air. Amid throngs, recordings, enforcers, he disclosed concealed $70,000 burdens imperiling solvency, timbre laden with remorse and ire. Perspective lost, Brooke communal heritage, destruction irrelevant to her illicit edifices. The words hanging heavy, a marital fracture laid bare. Desertion precipitated unraveling, surpassing prior outbursts. Spectacle as accusations encompassed enforcers to regulators in my cabal, litigious vows divine, her voice cracking under the strain. Attire succumbed to solar exposure amid ravings of infringed prerogatives. Communal jubilation ignited, juveniles brandishing preservations, guardians broadcasting dissolution virally, the moment a collective exhale of relief. Entities propagated civilian conquests via diligence, Brooke icon of foundational safeguarding, galvanizing analogous Wyoming oppositions, the ripple effect a testament to one stand's power. Aquatic proximities necessitate evaluations for pervasive repercussions, Victoria's circumvention invoking concurrent enforcements, uninsured felonies haunting proprietors perpetually, the legal entanglements a web of her weaving. Fiscal cataclysm accelerated via terminations, accumulations, expenditures, deluges intensifying via her configurations, attributions misplaced, the basement a watery grave for her ambitions. Harold's schism initiated matrimonial dissolution amid obsessive criminality, incomprehensible justifications, the end of their union a collateral casualty. Regime's demise convened overcrowded Pinecrest Valley Forum, exceeding capacities, ambience electric with reprisals fragrance as subjugated vocalized liberation, the chairs scraping a prelude to reckoning. Broadcasts, documentations determined reclamation from intoxicated potentates, the stakes a restoration of harmony. Commissioner Sofia Martinez oversaw amid notoriety, Deputy Sanchez maintaining decorum, murmurs charged with reclamation's potency, the room pulsing with pent-up energy. Victoria's tardy arrival theatrical, demanding seclusion vetoed unanimously, isolates amid antagonisms she'd cultivated, poignant barring recollections of devastations, her isolation a mirror to her isolation tactics. Treasurer Helen's revelation detonated. Vendetta depleted $95,000. Insolvency enriching encouragers of delinquencies. The figures a stark indictment. Unauthorized warfare on constituents. Helen's authoritative declaration. Embezzlement as altruism, necessitating communal reparations. Her tone a blade of truth. Presentation prosecutorial, timelines, entitlements, safeguards, validations irrefutable. The slides a narrative of endurance. Contrasts evoked gasps. Testimonies therapeutic. Mrs. Lee recounting eradications. Tyler emotional renovations. The voices a chorus of reclaimed power. 17 narratives delineated pervasive oppression. The accumulation a dam bursting with shared pain. Climactic? Olivia's disclosure. Silence preceding acclaim. Wyoming AG indicts Victoria Harrington for ecological infractions, frauds, misappropriations, perjuries. The announcement a thunderclap. Thunderous. EPA prosecutions, incarcerations, penalties, pallor cement-like. IRS scrutinies, commissions felonies. The layers of charges a cascade of downfall. Spectacle legendary, conspiratorial accusations, collective litigations. Her unraveling a spectacle of hubris and wilted amid illuminations. Crowd's catharsis resonant liberation. The cheers a wave of freedom. Relocation exterior, festive bully vanquishment, the air alive with victory's scent. Harold's microphone seizure, dissolution proclamation, investigative collaboration, unrecognizable transformation, obsessions ruinous, refusal complicity, the final nail in her coffin. Desertion-induced medical intervention amid breakdown, the paramedics' arrival a somber, close to her reign. Expulsion unanimous amid diatribes, footage paradigmatic for organized triumphs, the legacy a blueprint for resistance. Post-expulsion clarity refreshed post-toxicity, mending divisions, reinstating service-oriented governance transparently, the new board a breath of fresh air. Actions dismissed irrevocably, $35,000 acknowledgments secondary to abuse admissions, the settlement a small victory in a larger war. Victoria's repercussions inexorable, convictions perpetual, $75,000 penalties, remediations bankrupting, estate liquidation undervalued via encumbrances, the sale a humiliating epilogue. Insolvency quartet months, self-inflicted obliteration via unmerited dominance pursuits, her fall a cautionary echo. Restorations via Harold's atonement elevated ecologically, surpassing visions, University of Wyoming adoptions researching recoveries, attracting regional advocates, the site buzzing with academic curiosity. Revivals reinstated absentees. Otters emblematic. Their playful splash is a symbol of renewal. Personally transformative, reigniting advocacy. Lily and Max emerging stewards. Identifications and explications confident, their eyes wide with wonder at nature's resilience. Strolls instructional on stewardship, obligations, resistances, the paths worn with purposeful steps. Memorial Hub donations hosted educations, researches, advocacies emulating Wyoming resistances, the building a beacon for future guardians. Lily's scholarship perpetuated legacies, her future a continuation of the flow. Quadrennial, legislative evolutions mandating reviews pre-challenges, the changes a ripple from our stand. Documentaries nationalized Brooke as guardianship emblem. Engagements strategizing protections against conformist impositions, the platforms amplifying our voice. Festival multitudes celebrated conservations, governances via activities, sponsorships, artistry adorning tributes to defenders against mirrored authoritarianisms, the events a yearly reminder of unity's power. Engineering insights melded technicalities with organizings, paramount ordinary conquests via documentations, alliances, perseverances against fatiguing oppositions, the lessons etched like river carvings. Natural safeguards supersede locals, necessitating researches, combats against prioritizations of transients over sustainabilities, the balance a delicate dance. Mornings Brookside, infusions, atmospheres, echoes Grandpa Sam's placements, voices affirming battle's worth for unborn inheritances, the whispers a guiding current. Bridge gatherings instilled conservations, duties, courages against destructives, the spot a living monument to perseverance. So, what do you think? Was this justice served? Or does it cross into vigilante territory? Where do you draw the line between fighting back and becoming the bully? Drop your thoughts on right, wrong, fairness, and morals in the comments below.